is there some sort of videos that, like, do you believe the reptilian alien videos that say, oh, Hillary Clinton's a reptilian alien, or these reporters are? Do you believe all of that?
I believe in aliens.
Do you believe that Hillary Clinton is a reptilian?
No, that's absurd. But are you saying
yes,
the
it's
aliens
absurd,
don't exist?
of course, but there's videos. There's videos of like her eyes do this weird thing or something.
Do we have
there's videos and stuff.
Do we have videos of UFOs?
Well, we have videos of unidentifiable objects in the sky, certainly, and those are technically UFOs, yeah.
So, isn't it safe to assume there's a high possibility that aliens might exist from those videos? This is evident.
Well, no, because they're unidentified. That's what the U stands for.
No.
We just don't know what they are.
Yeah, those could be trash blowing in the wind. They could be balloons. They could be,
most often than not, they're
balloons don't go faster than jets.
Military planes.
Okay, and neither does the balloon in the video that you're thinking of. I've seen the videos that people are saying, oh, this thing is traveling faster than the jet. No, it looks like it's traveling faster than the jet because it's in the air and the jet is moving, so the background behind it seems to be moving when the camera is pointed at it fixed. The objects in those videos aren't actually moving.
So you're saying this, like every video is this?
Pretty much everyone that I've seen of those, military jets tracking an object, and they're like, "What is that?" Oh, well, it's actually something that's in a relatively fixed position in the air, right? And they're flying above it, and they're pointing their cameras.
Or at the very least, going slower than the jet, but the parallax makes it look like it's going faster.
Right. It's parallax movements in every case.
It's basically the same effect that makes Mars look like it stops going and then goes backwards for a little bit and then starts going forward. Mars isn't really doing that. It's just a perspective thing.
He hasn't just really seriously tried to deny aliens. Like, look, even the government accepts aliens are real. There's no denying aliens.
I'm going to have to ask for a citation on that.
When did we deny aliens?
They say that they're unidentified objects, but they're not saying aliens exist.
No, I'm saying this.
Well, aliens exist, but they probably don't exist anywhere close to Earth.
Apparently, they would be.
Bubble, are you familiar with that thing that happened a few years ago in Russia? I forget the name of the town, but it was a meteor that came in and went over the town, and it was visible, and it was seen by a whole bunch of people.
Chelyabinsk.
What was that?
Chelyabinsk.
Chelyabinsk?
Chelyabinsk.
Okay. Well, anyway, if you look that up, you will see that people had cell phone video from all sorts of angles covering this. And so people were able to take those videos and use photogrammetry to prove where it was, what speed it was going, where it was going, and that's how they were able to figure it all out. Now, don't you think that if there were an actual spaceship anywhere that people exist, considering that basically everyone has a cell phone with a camera, shouldn't the exact same thing be happening? We would have that high def and 4K video from 27 different angles, and there wouldn't be any question about where it was and what it looked like and how fast it was going.
We do have that kind of video now. We're starting to get that kind of video.
No, we don't.
No, we just have some random cell phone videos that someone takes it.
We have single angle videos. We don't have videos from multiple angles of something that is unambiguously large and moving in a way that can't be explained by some other mundane phenomenon. We don't have what Shane described.
We have it with meteors, we don't have it with aliens.
We do have it with aliens.
Well, then point to an example.
Which videos?
There's NASA
Link it. Link a scenario where there's multiple angles.
Multiple angles enough to do a photogrammetric analysis where you can actually say...
You can fake one video. It's very difficult to fake the same phenomenon occurring from two different angles because you could compare the two angles and find discrepancies.
And especially when you have as many people as you have, with this Russian meteor, the idea that they would all somehow be in on the hoax without there being a whistleblower is kind of ridiculous. So when you have that many people doing it, it would be kind of undeniable.
No, that's the thing. Because with the meteor, everybody can see, look, this is a freaking giant fireball in the sky. People were recording from their dash cams.
Well, no, they just saw a light. They didn't really know what it was. They just saw a light.
But it's very clear because it's exposing itself. Like, look, there, you can't ignore it.
Yeah, and
Consider-
when it's an alien spacecraft entering Earth's atmosphere, be equally obvious and clear, because that
No.
meteor was about.
Clearly, their spaceship isn't burning up.
No, the space shuttle didn't burn up when it re-entered the atmosphere, but it created a shock layer of air around it that was luminous. And people did record footage of the space shuttle every time it would re-enter, and it was very obvious where it was, right? But none of the space shuttle burnt when it was re-entering the atmosphere. The same
Yeah,
would be
so-
true for an alien spacecraft.
No, this is the thing, because apparently the alien spacecraft isn't freaking burning up in the atmosphere. So
But
they
that's what I'm
clearly have
saying.
to-
The space shuttle didn't burn up in the atmosphere either, but it still creates a shock wave that is luminous.
No, apparently they might
Yes.
have to. No, they
You
clearly
don't have to burn up the craft doesn't have to burn up itself. The craft can be robustly
I know.
built in a way in materials that can withstand the temperature, but that doesn't mitigate the fact that the atmosphere itself, when you're coming in from escape velocity, is going to
Unless-
be heated to the point of the atmosphere around it becoming luminous.
Unless the
No.
spacecraft, the alien spacecraft, controls its speed really carefully. I don't know
It's just
how.
different
I
technology.
don't know, even
So
if
that
it
it-
even if it does,
It-
unless they're planning on taking a really long time to get here,
Maybe
they
just
would have
teleport.
they would have
Who
to be
knows?
going slower than the speed of sound from the moment they enter the atmosphere.
And that's another thing that I want to bring up. A lot of people say, oh, these spacecraft, they're traveling like in a flash in an instant, so they're clearly breaking the sound barrier. How come we don't hear a low rumble in the video? You can see a plane thousands of miles in the air, and you still hear that sonic boom. Sometimes before the
Well,
plane...
with an airplane, it isn't even a sonic boom because they're not supersonic. But if you had a spaceship going supersonic, you'd know it. You would break windows. That's why when they did all of those supersonic jets, they had to do it like far away from any residential areas or anything.
Yeah,
Right? There's no technology.
Yeah, Concorde.
There's no
had issues.
concept in physics for how you could prevent something like a sonic boom, and there's no reason why you would invent any technology to somehow mask that sonic boom. You can somewhat soften the intensity of it by
Doesn't
making
know.
your aircraft very long, slender, and pointy. But the footage of the UFOs and stuff, those UFOs are clearly not designed to mitigate sonic booms in any ways, so they clearly would create that.
Well, and also the UFO footage. People take UFO videos and they're just on the street pointing their camera up and they're like, oh, wow, what's that? Well, I mean, if that were that visible from other angles, then a lot of other people should have their cell phones out.
No, because it's just a different alien technology, and like they probably
Technology doesn't have anything to do with it. Can you see the spaceship? That's what it has to do with. Does it show up on video?
Are
these
you saying
aliens.
that these aliens can like make
The way
specific
you're
people
using
see
the
ship
term
and other
alien
people not?
technology
It might as well be-
is extremely convenient for your narrative, because
Might as well-
you don't have
Exactly.
to explain what
No,
that
it's-
technology is. You're just saying, oh, this is the reason why
It
we're
would
not observing it this way.
Yeah, it's belief in belief again.
No, because they're aliens, so their technology must also be alien.
You might as well be saying their spacecraft is powered by fairy dust.
Right.
Who the heck
Right.
knows?
Just because they're aliens and have superior technology doesn't mean that they would invent a ship that's specifically somehow using a technology we can't even begin to understand doesn't produce sonic booms. Right? There's no reason
That's
why we should assume that the aliens would fly a ship that doesn't create sonic
Right.
booms. You're just saying,
Even if
well,
it's
it must-
physically possible. I mean, we're not talking about technology here. We're just talking about the laws of physics.
Unless
'Cause you're
Right. There's
the
no
whole
reason to
point.
believe that there's any laws of physics that would allow any spacecraft of any design to not have a sonic boom when entering at escape velocity.
That's what you think. But
Yes,
we
it's
don't
the-
know.
W-
You're just
maybe the
applying-
aliens we just don't want us to notice, so they're
Yeah,
extremely
for sure.
careful about it or something.
Yeah, looks like it because the airfield would just show themselves up.
And yet they're showing up on the videos taken by hillbillies.
Yeah,
They can make
Hillbillies.
themselves invisible to everyone except morons out in the middle of nowhere.
NASA aren't freaking hillbillies in the middle of nowhere.
No, the people who are trying to interpret the footage, they're hillbillies, basically. I saw a video. It was footage of the external tank just dropping away from the space shuttle. It was just totally mundane, right? There was a chip in the window that they were pointing the camera through, that it was very obvious that this is just a chip in the window. Of course, there are chips in the window of the space shuttle. It gets sandblasted every time it's in orbit, basically. So, but people were pointing that in the comments section of this YouTube video, and everyone was saying, "What? What is that blob? Oh my God, that's a UFO!" It's just a chip in the window. People are going to scour over all kinds of footage from NASA, and they're going to point to things that they're not used to seeing, because obviously space flight is something that people aren't used to seeing, and they're going to point at things and go, "Oh, this must be a UFO," when really we just don't know what it is, and it could be something as mundane as a chip in the window.
It's the same thing that makes people look at videos and pictures from the moon and saying, "Oh, it must be lit on a set because the shadows are going different ways and they're bouncing around like they're on strings or whatever," because they're not used to seeing how things look on the moon, which is an alien environment.
Or when people say that there must be air because the flag is waving or something.
Yeah, when they were just moving the pole back and forth and it was swinging.
That was a good Bogasti episode.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that was a really old
Penn
one.
and Teller did a good episode on that too.
Yeah, go back to my early videos. I did all of these. I've got a ton of videos about creationism, and I cover things like the bacteria that learn to digest nylon, and I cover the Lansky experiment. I cover all of that. I have videos on all of this.